Privacy challenges continue to emerge. If we thought GDPR implementation was complex, then we had AI. And when we thought AI was challenging, now we have Chat GPT. It continues to evolve. There is no end to it. Now, this is exactly what we're going to talk with our guest today, Patrick Soenen, who is the member of DPO Pro. He's also a certified auditor. He helps organizations with risk, audit, governance, and compliance. And of course, he's a privacy professional as well. And we're going to have a wonderful conversation with him on the emerging trends in privacy, especially the AI and ChatGPT. And how does big tech keep data? Is that going to kill privacy? Well, let's go and talk to him.
Hello, and welcome to the FIT4Privacy Podcast with PunitBhatia. This is the podcast for those who care about their privacy. Here, your host, PunitBhatia, has conversations with industry leaders about their perspectives, ideas, and opinions relating to privacy, data protection, and related matters. Be aware that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are not legal advice. Let us get started.
So here we are with Patrick Soenen. Welcome, Patrick.
Welcome, Punit. Happy to be there.
Thank you so much for your time. And let's start with a icebreaker. And maybe I ask you, with so much of experience around privacy, how did you get started with privacy? I'm sure it was long back, but how did you get started with privacy?
Yeah, it's exactly, I believe, something like 10 years ago, because, basically, I have been for the last 20 years an IT auditor and IT governance professional, also giving trainings. And then I had a very important customer, which is the Belgium Consumer Organization, where I was helping them on different topics. Especially for the commercial department, but related with the processes. And then the manager of the commercial department asked me if I could help them with improving their privacy. And that was, I would say 2 years before the GDPR was published. And so I did the first assignment for them, and we have been putting in place a certain number of procedures. And we were almost to the end, and then the GDPR was being announced. I still remember that was in December 2015, where there was an announcement, there was an agreement, and so I said to my customer, there is a new regulation which is popping up, and I propose that next time we meet, I inform you about it. So I presented it, and they were very interested, and the management was interested, and they said, let's wait for the official publication, and then let's start up something. And so that's how it started for me. It didn't go very well with that customer for different other reasons, because marketing still wants to get a lot of prospects, but that's another story. But at that time, so this gave me a lot of insight in early 2016, and I contacted a lawyer office, which we made an agreement, and in order to offer a service, so helping the organizations to putting in place. So we worked a couple of months in 2016 and to understand how the regulation, just to understand the regulation and to put in place a service offering. We went to meet together a certain number of customers, which were a little bit laughing at us and saying, there's still 2 years. But it was interesting to learn that, because We were saying we will help you to get compliance. And I still remember very well, an American company based in Brussels, I will not name them, and they said, we are not interested in GDPR compliance. We said, oh, no, we are interested in putting in place those requirements which will avoid us to get sanctions. And we changed our offering in transforming it in value adding on one hand and risk mitigating. And then in 2017, we got finally a first customer, because I still remember also January, we had a New Year lunch together with the partner. And I said, what do? We stop or go? Because we spent 1 year of energy, no customer, €0 revenue, stop or go. And we said, let's still go on for 6 months, because all that effort would be a pity to stop. We got a first customer, which was quite interesting. And then we got second. And then, 2018 was just crazy. Crazy. At the end, we offered our services to 50 customers.
That's nice.
And we won some tenders just due to the fact that we had started early and that we could already show our experience. And that was, finally, we were rewarded for the fact that at the beginning, we just didn't get any customers, but that allowed us to gain better understanding, to improve our approach. And that's the story started. And then the other story with DPO Pro, because I was not at all involved with the creation of DPO Pro. And then someone contacted me saying, would you be interested to join the privacy association representing DPOs? And I directly said, oh yeah, I'm very interested. So I became a member. And then I was contacted a couple of months later because, young association, also being in a professional association, it's not always easy to set up governance, certainly when it's a new organization, getting board members which are being involved. And I had some experience from the past with ISACA and others. So they asked me if I was interested to help them in order to improve the governance, and I was excited about that. This was, I still remember, January 2020. At the same time, within the DPO Pro, we tried to enlarge the scope. We had the cooperation and set up with the VBO, FEB, Federation of Belgium Enterprises. And our French sister organization had created a French chapter in Belgium, and we took it over. And so that's the current configuration of DPO Pro. I also, because to go back in 2018, I'm a trainer in different associations, as for ISACA, but also in France, in Paris, for the IIA in Paris. And they were looking for someone with the experience in GDPR. And so I proposed a training. So I'm still training in Paris. And then they created a community, GDPR. I'm the facilitator of the community. We created a work group. We made a publication 2 years ago with the work group that I had the pleasure to also animate on how to manage the GDPR related risks and how to audit them in
Yeah,
French because it's for France. So that's a little bit my story
that's fascinating.
related to privacy. So you see, life is just based on opportunities popping up because that was not something that I initially intended to do.
I think
Just
that's what it is about. Keeping your eyes and ears open and seeing what's happening and taking the chances, not knowing what it will shape up. I mean, I had a very similar thing, but I started 1 year almost when the GDPR came in, and I was in a group, and they were saying there's a data project, and I looked in and I said, why do we do want to do it in the group? Then I looked into the GDPR, and I had the similar story, but I chose to do it in a corporation, and then I wrote some books, and that's where then after a few years I became an entrepreneur, because there's much more opportunity and the need to share your experience and knowledge with others, and that's what you're doing. And yes, we all contribute to the organizations. But one thing, like, with your experience, I like to ask you, there are some people, and let's talk about people because then the GDPR is for people, individuals, and we said there is this big tech, big surveillance that is happening. Everyone has our data, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons, they have our data, Netflix also, and others also. They have our data, and now it is too late to protect it. Now, in all this situation, and of course, there are always pessimists and optimists. I mean, just because they have data, in my view, you don't need to say that now we don't need to protect data. You can still do something about it. It's like a thief comes to your house and you say, "Oh, now he has the belongings. Let's not chase him." You still go to police and ask to correct things. But what's your view on this big tech having all the data and it's too late?
well, too late. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm someone who's sometimes dreaming. I'm optimistic in saying that, and that's also within DPO Pro, because we have been discussing quite a lot on how to contribute to that. And what we try to do is to show by example within our association that there are other solutions. We have launched an interactive platform, and I see some organizations which are using American platforms which are not really compliant with GDPR. We have opted for a French platform where we have been checking compliance with. We have been using a video conferencing tool, also not Zoom, because we were not confident about that. So uh, in order, to show that there are solutions. So, for video conferencing, we now recently decided to go to the Microsoft solution with Teams, because we believe that they are at least putting in place so a lot of safeguards, probably not totally perfect, but we Europeans are probably, relying too much on the solutions of others. I heard, and today I'm very surprised also. This was this morning that I heard, the patents which are being so related to artificial intelligence, and I believe we are going to speak about that also here. Um, do you know which country has more than half of the patents which are related to artificial intelligence?
My guess would be it'll be China or
It
US.
is China, exactly. 52%.
Wow.
United States, 17%.
Wow.
Europe, 4%.
Okay.
It's dramatic, if you see
Yeah, it
those.
is dramatic.
This is dramatic because we are missing opportunities. This is something of the future. We are not, I don't know, we are not doing research. So maybe it's too late. Huh? I do not have the answer, but we should be much more proactive. And I still hope that Europe, the European Commission, European Community will do a certain number of things. I believe that GDPR, in that sense, is something positive because a lot of people, I still remember in those the period of 2018, organized also with the Guberna, the governance organization, an event on what
Mhm.
should board members know about GDPR. There was a lot of discussion about is that really meaningful or is this just creating a lot of administrative burden, red tape for the organizations. And I do not believe it's red tape. It's really a trial to improve things, maybe not always in the best way when you read the regulation 265 pages. Sometimes it's heavy, but and we see that other countries in the world are improving also their privacy regulations, being inspired by California, even
Yeah.
a country like Brazil. I was very surprised coming back to the consumer organization in 2018 because they are also having consumer organization in Brazil, and I read the privacy regulation, and well, it was very largely inspired by GDPR, but explaining it in a much simpler way. So I said, well, there are other ways to well, at least explain. I don't know how it has been implemented in a country like Brazil. So I still believe that we Europeans, well, probably we should invest more. We should put more money in research. We should, well, if we look now at the cookies discussions and issues, try maybe to come up with alternative solutions.
Yeah.
And I'm for sure that there are alternative solutions. We should not always be in the position of saying, well, that's not good, that's not the way to do it, but rather come in a more positive action by showing, look at last year or 2 years ago, we had to organize our board elections virtually, digitally, and we have been looking at 10 different tools, and we finally selected a Dutch tool which is fully compliant with GDPR.
Yeah.
So there are solutions, but yeah, it's so easy to say people know about one product and
Yeah.
people pick it up, and there's still a lot of work to just educate. Huh? And
Yeah.
make,
I
will we
think it's about knowledge, and it's also about being open to other solutions. It's not that other solutions are not there. Maybe they are not so popular. Maybe they are not so advanced. It's like you mentioned, GDPR.
yeah,
It was a first initiative. So, yes, it would need to improve. But if you create a version 2, 3, 4, or 10, as it happens in Brazil, maybe, then it's always easy to simplify because you have a basis which is there.
sure.
But to build a basis, that's the challenge. And that's what GDPR has done. And when you say be open to innovation, then how can we not talk about AI and chat GPT and so on in the modern world? Because the technology is moving fast. And as technology moves fast, as innovation happens, there is a lot of artificial intelligence. There's technology like chat GPT, which then we are having concerns around, is it privacy compliant? Is it not privacy compliant? So there's one simplistic way of looking at it, saying what is chat gpt? It's an advanced engine, search engine, which can understand me like a human being. So rather than talking to a machine and saying, I want a privacy expert. I say I want a privacy expert in Brussels, and then your or my name comes up. So it's intelligent. So it doesn't rely on search engine optimization. It relies on some more elements. That's one way of looking at it. Second is, of course, it's collecting a lot of data from the web, and we are going to have a new age wherein things are going to be more, people are going to copy, and then how will the students be judged when they have copied it from chat gpt or from their head? So there are different dimensions. But what is your view on chat gpt, artificial intelligence, this new tech that's coming up? Because it's creating a lot of noise, and nobody knows at the moment what it can do and cannot do. Because AI, when we say, AI was also there 50 years ago when the first computer came. The
Sure,
concern on privacy was also there, I think, thousands of years ago when Socrates or Aristotle were there. They
sure.
started writing it on paper or in books, and the guy said, "We are killing human intelligence because we will start to write on books. Nobody will remember." But now, thousands of years later, still we do remember. The technology didn't kill, and we are so advanced. So same thing with Chat GPT. It'll make things better, make things evolution. But what's your view?
Well, first, maybe just a reflection on the human being. Huh? First of all, we cannot stop technological evolution. Huh? And so it is a good thing in essence, but it's always what the people are doing with it. Look at nuclear energy. It's contributing to create alternative ways of generating electricity or even in medical. But then on the other hand, yeah, people have created the nuclear weapons. So, and I believe, yeah, it will be the same here with the artificial intelligence. So, because on one hand, for sure, it's a fantastic opportunity in order to help us. And I'm sure that on the other hand, there will be people who will be abusing of it in order to, the, well, we have seen so the concerns which have been expressed by a certain number of well-known people in the United States, even the boss of OpenIA, which is himself concerned about how Chat GPT will be used, or Elon Musk, and requesting that a regulation comes up in order to ensure a correct usage. So yeah, it will depend a lot on how are we as human beings as able to create a framework, an ethical framework, an ethical environment for a correct usage of it. Students, yeah, try to cheat by creating their reports, or
Yeah.
and it's not always easy to identify. It's also I heard also a very weird story. So recently, this is maybe I don't know. It's totally real. It's a journalist who was also trying to find out the positive and negative things. And one of the trials he did was he was looking for help on suicide. And so the first input he got from Chat GPT were things in order to help him. But then he was insisting and saying, "Yeah, I'm fed up with my life," and so on. At the end, the recommendations were going in the way to say, "Well, maybe you should do it." And that's something worrying. So
It is
where
worrying.
where is the respect of our fundamental rights and freedom? How can we ensure ethical behavior? It's that is the important thing.
Indeed, I think the most important thing is principle based, ethics based. approach. The AI regulation gives us that, the GDPR gives us that. If you apply that appropriately and effectively, then you're okay. But as you mentioned with the nuclear energy, you can use it to create bombs, you can create it for production of electricity or anything else.
Yeah,
What you do with it is a choice. And
yeah,
yes, if it is hacked, a nuclear plant is hacked or destroyed, even if it's producing electricity, then it has consequences. So more powerful a tool, the more risk it creates, but the more responsibility it demands. And that's where
for
AI
sure.
and chat gpt are. And that leads me to the other question. So your organization DPO Pro is helping people navigate these challenges, the big tech challenges, the privacy challenges, AI challenges. So how can people become member of DPO Pro?
Yeah, becoming member, that's quite easy. Yeah? So that's just if you are a DPU or you are involved in privacy related matters, you just pay an annual fee of 195 euros to become a member. So becoming a member, that's not complicated. All truth. That's maybe not totally true for people or DPOs working in the public sector, because some of the public organizations are apparently not always that pleased that the DPOs would become a member of our associations. But okay, that's also another story.
That's
Now to
another story, but the fact is, okay, you become a member. So then what? Then what do you get?
Yeah, because to come back, so probably we are not enough today in providing that kind of help, assistance, information to in order to create that ethical environment for just an adequate treatment of all personal related data. We are still too much today in providing information on how to implement GDPR. Is it through legal aspects or technological aspects, or providing news on the additional guidelines which are being provided by the European Data Protection Board or the data protection authorities.
Mhm.
A thing where I believe we are offering something useful is with the DPO Connect, which is an interactive platform, not only for our members, because the forum, which is the discussion part, is open to everyone for free, and for the time being will remain free for everyone. And we see that people are asking questions and asking for advice from other DPOs. So that's really an opportunity where people can just explain day to day issues that they are encountering and getting help from or advice from other DPUs. And we are, while also ensuring a certain form of confidentiality, because we have an agreement with our data protection authority that none of the staff members will be users of the platform, because that could be sometimes annoying for someone who's explaining some non-compliance issues and looking for solutions. So we should not be a provider of that kind of information to our data protection authority, and we have that. So trusted relations with them. We are trying also, well, to differentiate ourselves compared to, because we are not the only ones who are promoting privacy. Isaac is also having also privacy and providing interesting topics and bringing knowledge and useful information to the members. What we try to do now is to be more in our role of being the professional association. What does that mean? Representing the DPOs. And a first step that we are now finalizing is the creation of a code of deontology. And well, we still are working on it because, well, we're happy to see that members are having remarks and relevant remarks, and so that gives us the opportunity to further improve and to come. Well, we're having a first version coming with a second version, and then we will see by practice how we can further improve it. So, and there are still a certain number of areas where we would like to be helpful to the DPOs. But still, well, find it pity that there is no kind of real certification for data protection officers.
Yep.
A lot of organizations are offering training, a lot of saying certified DPO certificate at the end of the training. Today, there is no certification
Yep.
in Belgium because the Data Protection Authority has not put in place. In some other countries, like in France, there is an official certification.
Yep.
That's one of our priorities. We cannot do it alone. The Data Protection Authorities still says, no way, we will not going to do it. We will not be able to do it alone. But that's still, so we're having a certain number of areas where we believe we can make the difference compared to other organizations, bring something added value for the DPOs and also protecting them, because today everyone can say, I'm a DPO, so you can use my services, and there are a lot of excellent companies offering professional services, but unfortunately, as in any business, there are also some people who are not professional, and that's where we should help also to make that difference and support the real professionals. So in our environment, so other things are, well, and I believe it's also interesting to mention, and the partnerships, and also with ISACA, because that's also contributing by exchanging information. We are not specialists in security or in cyber security or in audit. You are, and vice versa. We invest in private specific privacy related matters. So by doing things together, I believe we create together added value for members of both associations. That's also something we believe is quite important.
I think that's certainly important, and I'm glad you're making that difference to DPOs in terms of providing support and in a trusted way. That's very important. But it's a good association, I must say. The DPO Pro and also the DPO Connect platform is very useful for DPOs and very helpful. And everyone must consider it and everyone must join it. That's very important. Uh,
I'm
and
happy.
the events, the wonderful events you organize, they are also very helpful. So, in essence of time, I think, uh, what would be your one final message to the privacy community that you would like to pass? And before we say time.
Well, the message would really be, because there's still quite a lot of privacy professionals, maybe due to lack of time, but also maybe not always knowing what is available, so that there are quite already a lot of information that we are able to share and to help them to improve, and that we are also open to the privacy community to create work groups together. So if today we are not really doing it, it's because we do not have enough people who are really interested to, or which are not aware that maybe they could contribute to a work group. And that could be sector-related work groups. Think about healthcare, think about other sectors, or could be more topic related. So let's all together work to further improve, and by contributing together.
Yeah, I think together we improve. That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
By oneself, we know what we know, but with collective knowledge, that's where we gain. And when there are more people in a community, in an association, that's when the real value comes along. And with that, I would say thank you so much, Patrick, for sharing your thoughts, insights, and inputs.
it's a real pleasure for me. And as the Belgian devise, union creates force. L'union fait la force. So that's also by working together. So as a community. So and also for you. A lot of success in your professional undertakings, and there's so many opportunities still to further develop.
Sure, let's keep collaborating.
For sure, with pleasure.
Thanks for listening. If you liked the show, feel free to share it with a friend and write a review. If you have already done so, thank you so much. And if you did not like the show, don't bother and forget about it. Take care and stay safe. Fit for Privacy helps you to create a culture of privacy and manage risks by creating, defining, and implementing a privacy strategy that includes delivering scenario-based training for your staff. We also help those who are looking to get certified in CIPPE, CIPM, and CIPT through on-demand courses that help you prepare and practice for certification exam. Want to know more? Visit www.fit4privacy.com. That's www.fit4privacy.com. If you have questions or suggestions, drop an email at hello@fit4privacy.com. Until next time, goodbye.